Many people genuinely believe that success depends solely on strict discipline or simply putting in more work hours. There was a time when I was homeless and considered myself a complete failure, but today I'm a millionaire and an investor. So instead of meaningless and empty motivational speeches, I want to share with you 5 very simple yet effective principles that will finally help you start doing those challenging and difficult tasks you've been avoiding for so long. Principle number 1 is this: you really don't need to consciously trap yourself. In the year 1519, the famous Spanish conquistador Hernan Cortes landed on the shores of Mexico with only a few hundred brave men at his disposal. Their grand goal was to conquer the vast Aztec Empire. They found themselves on unknown, hostile land, vastly outnumbered and facing nearly impossible obstacles. Can you guess exactly what he did to make sure all of his troops had no other choice but to win? Cortez gave a radical order to burn and sink their own ships. There was no possible way back, no chance of retreat, and no surrender. That is precisely what we need to do in our own lives. Because when you have absolutely no plan B, you will almost certainly find a way to make plan A work. I learned this incredibly vital lesson firsthand while working at a massive global corporation. We were acquiring a new company. It was a related business with a very attractive revenue stream, and instantly several hundred new employees joined us. They had an amazing management team, but they were located in a completely different city, one with no direct flights from New York. So I seriously doubted that I would be flying there often. But when you buy a company, you have to invest a tremendous amount of time and effort into integration. People, cultures, systems, products, customers, all of it has to come together seamlessly. I remember my CEO put his hand on my shoulder and said just 2 short phrases: "I'm not going there. This is entirely your responsibility." The idea of flying there every week stopped feeling like a tiresome routine or a matter of choice. It became my only plan A. There simply was no plan B. We were obligated to make this deal work and ensure the integration was 100% successful. This required me to give my undivided attention to the acquired company, since my CEO was focused on the bigger picture of the business and completely trusted me to take care of the new employees. In behavioral design, things like this are called forced functions. These are artificial constraints and conditions that back you into a corner and literally force you to grow. Here are 4 such functions you can set for yourself starting today. First, public commitment. Make sure to tell everyone exactly what you are planning to accomplish. Go ahead and announce it loud and clear. After all, social pressure is one of the oldest and most powerful motivators on earth. Second, financial stakes. Pay before you feel 100% ready. For example, buy an expensive gym membership or sign up for a course you've been dreaming about for a long time. Your story of acquiring a company, our story of acquiring a company, was exactly that kind of large-scale financial stake. We spent a lot of money and were obligated to succeed. Third, limiting access. Delete an entertainment app or block a distracting website. If the triggers are unavailable, that in itself becomes a powerful feature. And fourth, strict time limits. Give the task a non-negotiable window, like exactly 9 minutes, and make sure you deliver a finished result by the end of that time. When you know for sure that backing out isn't an option, tough tasks that once seemed impossible suddenly become inevitable. Smart systems help you overcome what everyone usually blames when they can't maintain consistency. And that's where principle number 2 comes into play. Do you know what I'm talking about? About the one and only, about good old willpower. We all have those days. At 8 in the morning, you feel like it's going to be an absolutely amazing day, and you'll get a massive ton of things done, and then suddenly, it's already 8 at night.
My name is John Walker, and I'm giving away $100,000 on my Telegram channel, where every third participant can win $3,000. I'll also tell you about the trading strategy that changed my life and helped me earn over $30,000 a month. I left all the links in the comments below this video. Click here right now.
You've pushed almost everything from your to-do list to tomorrow and feel like a total failure. But you're not a failure, it's just how our brains work. Both your brain and mine. One of the world's leading researchers on willpower, Roy Baumeister, conducted an incredible study that literally turned the classic idea of discipline on its head. He invited people into a lab and placed a plate of freshly baked, aromatic cookies in front of them. Half of the participants were strictly forbidden to eat or even touch the cookies, while the other half weren't told anything at all. As a result, some gave in and ate the cookies, while others didn't. Then, both groups were given a set of extremely difficult, unsolvable puzzles to work on. You'd probably think that those who had enough self-control and willpower to resist the sweets would do better. And here's the unexpected twist. Those who desperately resisted the temptation to eat the cookies gave up on the puzzles a full 50% faster. That really surprised me, but there's a clear scientific explanation for it. Our willpower isn't unlimited. It's a lot like a car's gas tank. Every decision you make and every time you resist temptation, it gradually drains that tank. By the evening, it's guaranteed to be empty. That's why you feel like a total failure. A lack of willpower at the end of a tough day isn't a sign of weakness, it's just stubborn biology. Statistically, judges are much more likely to deny parole to inmates in the late afternoon than during the early morning hours. The exact same criminal cases, the exact same facts, but the judge's mental fuel is just running out. We keep trying to solve a purely biological problem with vague methods like willpower. Noah Lyles is currently the fastest man in the world. He doesn't rely on mythical willpower or abstract discipline. He designs them. How exactly? He has ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, so he basically doesn't trust willpower at all. But overall, he does trust his carefully calibrated internal rhythm. 6 days a week, it's the same track, the same playlist in his headphones, the same warm-up, the same familiar movements of his body. When the starter pistol goes off, he says, "I don't think. My body already knows what to do." This isn't discipline, it's a design thought out down to the smallest detail. He doesn't fight his biology, he skillfully uses it to his advantage. When the difference between an Olympic gold and silver medal is just 1/50th of a second, it's the ingrained routine that gives him the decisive edge. Why not use this same powerful logic in your own life? Pick one important task you've been putting off and lock in 3 variables: the exact time, the specific place, and an unchanging trigger.
My name is John Walker, and I'm giving away $100,000 on my Telegram channel, where every third participant can win $3,000. I'll also tell you about the trading strategy that changed my life and helped me earn over $30,000 a month. I left all the links in the comments below this video. Click here right now.
Let's say you need to do some deep focus work, and it always happens exactly at 9 a.m. on Thursdays. At that time, you sit at the same desk, turn on the same background playlist, switch your phone to airplane mode, turn off work messengers and email, and now you're working on pure autopilot. It sounds almost ridiculously simple. That's exactly the point. These kinds of simple systems are the hardest to break or ignore. The more often you consciously put yourself into these rhythms, the less you'll ever have to rely on your limited willpower. A psychologist from New York University, Peter Gollwitzer, studied in detail students who tried to work out regularly during the long Christmas holidays. He divided them into 2 groups. One group was simply told to set goals like, "I want to work out more and more often," while the other group was given a clear if-then plan. For example, if it's Monday at 7 a.m., then I'm at the gym. Initially, both groups had exactly the same level of motivation, but the final results were astonishing. Individuals who simply focused on setting lofty goals ended up failing 62% of the time, whereas the participants who utilized the if-then plan experienced a failure rate of only 9% of the time. That's how our mental algorithms work in practice. We often avoid difficult tasks because deep down, we're subconsciously trying to avoid the tough emotions that come with them: disappointment, doubt, discomfort, or the crushing feeling of imposter syndrome. Your brain immediately starts bargaining. Let's just skip it today. Tomorrow, we'll do twice as much. The only solution that works is to launch the algorithm. It helps you see these internal emotional negotiations as nothing more than cold data signals, completely removing the drama and inner debates. You just execute the machine code. If it's 3 o'clock on Thursday, deep work starts without any arguments. If you've had lunch, you absolutely take a 15-minute walk. Simply program exactly what you are required to accomplish as an if-then algorithm and then strictly follow it through. But there's one critically important step that makes all these systems work and stick for good. You have to delegate your decisions. Atul Gawande, a very well-known surgeon, studied surgical errors in depth and discovered a disturbing pattern. Outstanding, world-class surgeons made a lot of simple, easily preventable mistakes. They knew everything and had all the skills, but under immense pressure, their effectiveness became inconsistent. Working together with the World Health Organization, he collaborated to develop a comprehensive 19-point surgical safety checklist. You might think it was super technical and complicated, but it actually listed the simplest things. First, visually confirm the patient's identity. Make sure all necessary antibiotics are administered on time. Check that the correct leg for surgery is marked with a marker. It seems completely basic, doesn't it? But when hospitals widely adopted the simple checklist into their daily routine, the number of post-operative complications dropped sharply by 36%, and mortality rates plummeted by a staggering 47%. The same skilled surgeons, the same years of experience, just a simple checklist served as a reliable safety net at moments when their cognitive load was at its peak. The main paradox is that the more of a master you become in your field, the more you need to rely on strictly structured systems. That's exactly why pilots with 10,000 flight hours meticulously go through the same checklist before every takeoff. It's not that they've forgotten how to fly a plane. They just don't trust their fragile memory in a stressful situation. Personally, I love making 3 lists in my life: a to-do list, a wish list, and a list of who I want to become. These lists aren't designed for the sake of bureaucracy. They create valuable bandwidth for your brain, so it can fully focus on genuinely difficult and breakthrough things.